now we have the other sense like eyes or ear, we can hear.
What is not there in dream is only seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. But after that moment, dream about that, no matter when it's not a dream or now. Dream about people in this room.
Yes, that is dream by in theory, but when not the truly dream, just in theory.
So dream is only thinking through mind or uncontrollable like now.
Sure.
And even now, some of the thinking is not related to what is being seen and heard. So if we're thinking about tomorrow or yesterday, nothing to do with present sensed or objects. So that is just like dreaming, isn't it?
So what is meant by wake up? Each life is like a dream when there's no understanding. That's why the Buddha said, awaken one.
So, sorry, but I have the question. So we are talking about dreaming, right? Because thinking a lot of things. Then if the understanding develop high level enough, then living in daily life with dream or without dream.
But depends on what you call it.
The aim is to unhinge realities. So the example of dreaming is given to help us understand more about the present moment. That the thinking that's going on now is just like in a dream. It's that reality which thinks about things conceptually. So it's not about changing and making it saying we should daydream less or whatever.
So talking about dreaming, I guess that mostly the thinking that arise during the dreams mostly come with ignorance. But can there be some time dreaming with kusala?
Like thinking now, can it be with kusala?
Yes, sometime.
And dreaming is thinking.
Yes, but not with understanding.
It did
Dream.
Just like that.
But then at the moment of understanding, it's not dreaming anymore.
At the moment of waking up, it's not a dream. That is moment of understanding. So any moment of understanding is not a dream, no matter through mind or as dreaming or thinking.
Ajahn just said at the moment of understanding there is no dream, right?
While one is dreaming and that is moment of understanding, that object is not a dream.
So, sorry, for example, at the moment of seeing, just see. After that, through the mind, there are a lot of process coming. Then, at the continuous moment of the citta with the understanding, that with the, I cannot distinguish the.
Like now, after seeing, usually there's lots of thinking about shapes and colours and lilies and people around. It's just like dreaming, it's being lost in a fantasy world, a dream world. But sometimes in between all that daydreaming or that thinking, there can be moments of understanding. Actually, it's just a visible object that's seen at that moment. And then more dreaming as usual. So it's the same even at night time. You can be dreaming, and then in between there can be moments of understanding, actually just sound or visible object that's seen, and then more dreaming again.
So, what is the value of understanding at that moment?
The value of understanding is then one's not lost in the dream world or fantasy world as usual. At the moment of understanding, no ignorance or attachment at that moment. Unlike when one's dreaming, usually it's led by ignorance and attachment, thinking about all sorts of objects like the lilies and the flowers and the people and the purple elephants or whatever it is, taking them for being real, not understanding that actually they're just dreams and fantasies and mirages, not real at all. At a moment of understanding, it's waking up for a moment. And for the Arahat, the one who has eradicated all defilements, no dreaming at night, asleep.
And would have had a term that he used to refer to the kind of thinking that goes on at the time, manyati, which refers to thinking with attachment, or with conceit, or with wrong view. And that is typical of the thinking that occurs throughout the day. But the enlightened being also thinks about what has been seen, but without those attachments, without those defilements, because they've been eradicated. So it's not the thinking per se that is the problem, if you like. It's the attachment, the defilements that accompany it.
So you were asking what's the value, right? Moment. It's also condition the arising of understanding in the future. It can also, because it's accumulated.
As a reminder, that which is now, that which is seen now is through sense door or mind door.
Mind door did most of the time.
Sense door first,
Yeah.
then followed by mind door, and sense door again, and mind door again. So it's impossible to try to find out which way until it's vipassana.
It doesn't matter. That's why earlier when there was a question about a tangible object and the doorway, and Ajahn was saying that it doesn't matter if, when one starts to think or try to work out whether it's sense or mind, or it's not understanding the tangible object or the visible object. It's lost in the dream about visible object or tangible object again.
Mind can experience all objects. Yes, it can. Mind can experience any object. Whatever is experienced through one doorway is followed by mind.
You said that the eye don't experience the visible object, but after that the mind experience the nimitta object.
Of reality.
So, for all intents and purposes, the visible object is experienced through the eye door and then through the mind door. It's the characteristic of visible object that is experienced. And the same for other sense objects and all other kinds of dhammas. Namas, for example, citas, cita seekers, subtle rupas, can only be experienced through the mind door. The sense bases, eye sense, ear sense, and so on, they can only be experienced through the mind door. So any reality can be experienced through the mind door.
It is the direct experiencing or the experience from the memory, because the process of the eyes, for example, has just finished, right? And then mind arise to experience the object just have fall away, and it is, direct experience object from the memory.
There are many mind door experiences after the sense door experience, but the first of these is regarded as direct experience, even though the object has fallen away. It has just fallen away, so the nimitta can be experienced, and in that manner the characteristic of the object is known. If it's understanding, the characteristic of the object is known. But later mind or processes are not experiencing the object directly.
I read in
Exact characteristic of the visible object, like a perfect photocopy. And after, even though the visible object has fallen away, its exact replica, that same characteristic, is experienced through the mind door.
Because I remember that in the book I read, I guess Nina book, the rupa arises longer than the chitta, around 17 times. Then after that, rupa already fall away. After that, the mind arise. Then, okay, I think the answer from Jonathan also.
Let me just step back a moment to explain to these people who are not so familiar with these details. So rupa refers to any reality which doesn't experience anything, such as visible object or sound or hardness. These are rupas, they're the realities which don't experience anything. And as Gurn said, each rupa, when it arises, lasts 17 times as long as nama. Nama is those realities which can experience an object, such as seeing or hearing. We're talking about super fast. But yes, so actually 17 cheetahs in a sense door process can experience the visible object if it runs depending on when it had arisen. So after seeing, after the averting consciousness, there is the seeing and many other cheetahs which experience that visible object. And then the visible object completely falls away, and there are many Bhavanga cheetahs. These are the life continuum cheetahs, like as when we're in deep sleep, not dreaming. Still there has to be cheetah arising and falling away to continue life. So there are many of these life continuum cheetahs, and then there is the mind or process, many mind or processes, as Jonathan said, and in at least the first mind or process, the replica or the characteristic or the nimitta of visible object is experienced by the cheetahs in that first mind or process. Later there are mind or processes thinking about shape, form, colour, impressions, lilies, and so on. But the first, at least the first one, experiences visible object. So this is why it's said that any reality can be experienced in the mind door. And this is why awareness and understanding of visible object can arise in either the sense door process or the mind door process, but it's totally useless to try to work out which or what, because this is just thinking about it. So it just, I think it's almost time, but it's just to give an idea of how intricate and detailed and more detail, but it's all again just to show that different conditions, different realities, and each one arising by very specific causes and very specific ways, not in anyone's control.
And when one is so truthful to the truth, it's the beginning of the path, leading to more and more understanding, from hearing to the understanding of that which appears until the moment of enlightenment. The truth of what one has heard that is so true.
Whatever wholesome qualities have arisen today, may they be known to beings in other realms who may rejoice in that kusala. Remembering especially those to whom we owe gratitude, and those deceased who are close relatives, who were close relatives of ours.
We don't have to follow any rule.
For recitation, it's easier.
Any attachment to the fixed